How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, I will be unboxing, showcasing, and reviewing the Full Moon Diner from Lemax Spooky Town Halloween 2023. Now, this one features tons of animation. There's so much going on with this one. So for this review, I'm just going to show you off the box, and then we'll pop it open and really take a good look at this. So, here's the front of the box. As you can see, you have a nice little stock photo of the Full Moon Diner. I'm going to rotate the box to the side now so you can get a view of the side. As you can see here, it shows some demonstrations for what the animation will be. I'm going to go way in depth into that when we actually get it open, but there you go. And here is the back. It just says sights and sounds in a whole bunch of different languages. And then it has the title of the building, the Full Moon Diner, and another whole bunch of languages. So without any more hesitation, let's pop this thing open.
Full Moon Diner, a perfect place to get a midnight snack. It doesn't matter how long you stay, we're open all night. I love fast food, because it's good exercise. What do you call a werewolf magician? A hairy Houdini. Hot coffee, fresh meats, and beautiful moon views. Stop by for a change. Where do you keep your scraps? I'll have the special. A foul for a howl.
Alright, now you got to see the Full Moon Diner in action. It's time for me to review it. To keep this review straightforward, I'll be breaking it up into 3 parts. I'll start off with looks, because I do think regardless of animation or lighting, the building should be able to hold its own weight just by looks alone and how it's designed. Then, of course, I'll be diving into animation and lighting, and because this building features audio, which even though I just think that's kind of a nice bonus and really does not affect my thoughts on the building at all, I still do have some things to say about the audio regardless, so I'll be talking about it. But anyways, let's get starting by talking about, well, how the Full Moon Diner looks. And, well, like most Lemax pieces, it looks incredible. There is so much detail, even to the tiniest little thing. There is just so much work put into this, and I think it's great. While I do love the design of this one, it does confuse me a little bit as to why they chose to go with a tavern look rather than the classic 50s diner aesthetic, which I would definitely expect more so than what it looks like now. But to be honest, I don't mind it. I really do like how the building is designed and stuff with all the roofs, and the brick siding looks cool. Really, I do enjoy how it looks, but I would definitely like to see a more classically designed diner from Lemax in the future. I think they could have something really cool with that. But definitely the thing that carries this piece a lot is the werewolf theming. Now, werewolves and diners, you really wouldn't expect to go together. I'd expect more zombies maybe, and they could have a brain diner. But Lemax really knocked it out of the park with this one, with the werewolf theming. There are so many puns all over this, so many cute little clever details that they mixed in with werewolves. My favorite little sign they have on there would probably be the no silver utensils used on premises. That is something pretty funny and clever, I thought, because obviously silver kills werewolves. So that is a cute little detail they put in, just one of many, of course. And also, there's just so much stuff scattered around. Like, there's a chicken for some reason. I don't really know what that's about, but I think it's funny and cute and definitely adds some uniqueness as well. That's pretty much it for the looks, because a lot of it comes down to the animation, so let's talk about that. Alright, now it's time for the bread and butter of this review, the animation and lighting. And when I say the animation is truly the best Lemax has ever done on any piece, I am not over-exaggerating or lying, my friends. This piece truly uses animation so well and in the most creative and unique ways I have seen to date from them. While maybe the piece isn't the best animated piece of all time, it certainly uses the animation in the best ways and has the coolest animated elements out of any Lemax piece, and I 100% believe that. If you have another piece that uses animation better than this one, send it to me, because I will not believe you. There is so much animation. The quality of the animation and the quantity is 100% there, and I just love each way it's used here. So let's break it down, starting from the highest point on the building to the lowest. So let's do that. Starting off at the very top, of course, you have the big Full Moon Diner sign. First, you just see the Full Moon Diner, but then it slides out or kind of leans over to reveal a full moon and a werewolf howling behind it. I think that looks so awesome. It's basically a giant moon casting light onto the entire building, which looks so awesome. I really love how that works in tandem with another piece of animation we'll get into in a little bit, but it's so cool how it reveals the moon behind it, because it really is a full moon over the diner. The next bit of animation is that werewolf that rises up and down out of that little bubble shack thingy, I guess you could call it. I don't know. It's kind of a very weird little design part of the building, but I'm not complaining. It adds to the uniqueness. Now this little werewolf here works again in tandem with the full moon. Once the full moon gets revealed on top of the building, this guy rises out to look at it, which I just think is so clever. Again, all these little details really wrap it together. So I think it's cool how he basically interacts with that top sign. That's something I really haven't seen on another building before, or at least I can remember, where two parts of the animation work together to create something that's clever and makes sense like that. So I like how he looks up at the full moon, of course. The wolf itself also looks really good and scary almost, with the red eyes, and I guess he also is ready to eat, as he has a little napkin tied around his neck, which I think is another cute, funny detail. The next bit of animation I think we can all agree on is the absolute best on this building, and possibly the smartest use of animation Lemax has ever done before, being, of course, that rotating sign. Now, I am just blown away by this one, truly. The way they used it here is so simple, yet what they put on it makes it so clever and, again, fits the werewolf theming perfectly here. So obviously the first thing you're supposed to see is that woman holding the coffee, completely normal, just saying come in for some coffee and beautiful moon views, but then it changes literally to stop by for a change, where she transforms into a werewolf. That is so clever and cool. I just love that. Again, using the werewolf theming perfectly here, really making this a werewolf diner and not just a diner with werewolves thrown on it, but really integrating it, which I think is awesome and definitely works so well. Such a cool idea. I never would have thought of that, so props to Lemax there for coming up with that little clever thing. And then it switches one more time to come in for a bite, the best or beast diner in town. I know Lemax typically reuses a lot of animation, and this one is certainly something I wouldn't mind seeing on another building. I have a strong feeling we'll be seeing a sign like this again next year, or some year soon. The next bit of animation is the lunar calendar. Now, I like this one, even though the animation on it is incredibly simple, just being a rotating disc or circle. It looks cool and it works well. I like how the dates of the actual moon phases are highlighted on the circle there. That is actually really clever and cool, so I like that a lot. But overall, it just looks cool, nice little detail. I don't have too much more to say about it. And the final bit of animation is all the way at the left side on the bottom, being the two hands reaching in and out of that little opening there. Now this one is really cool because I'm pretty sure it's either a guy getting attacked by a werewolf or becoming one. I think that's a really little nice animation detail that's kind of off to the side, kind of like low-key, I guess you could say, but it's still nice that it's there and definitely adds a lot more detail to the sides of the buildings, of course, and I just think it's a cool detail. I like how the guy is turning into the werewolf, which is another cool detail, of course, integrating the werewolves very well, and that pretty much does it for the animation. Now let's talk about the lighting. Now the lighting, and the only way to really get a good look at the lighting on this piece is of course seeing it in the dark, so here it is all lit up, and I just have to say, it looks fantastic. Now, is this a piece that really features the best lighting? I'm gonna go ahead and say no, but the lighting here works perfectly fine, and it works well enough for what it has to be. There isn't much variety in the color, which I think kind of works for the better here. It's all very natural, yellowy lighting, which definitely works in its favor here, as it wants to be a real looking business building, right? So I think it works well. They definitely just wanted everything that was animated to be lit up clearly here, which I think they achieved perfectly fine. Every point of animation is lit well enough to where you could completely see it, so I think they did a good job achieving that. You're not going to be missing any of the stuff in the dark. And I just like how the lighting looks, to be honest with you. There isn't too much to say. I think they just did a good job here. Alright, and now for the audio. Well, again, I do think this is just kind of an added bonus and doesn't affect my really opinions of the actual building itself. I think the audio is still important to talk about. So anyways, I think the audio here is fine at best. It's kind of cheesy, kind of goofy, but that's what it was definitely going for here. I wasn't expecting something really serious. I do like the music that plays though. It definitely fits that diner aesthetic for sure. So I think they nailed that down pretty well. And I do like the little werewolf's pun about fast food. I think that's a nice one too. Overall, I don't have too much to say about it other than it fits really well and it's just a good match for this piece. And with that, everybody, that wraps up my review of the Full Moon Diner from Lemax Spooky Town Halloween 2023. I have to say this is just a fantastic piece to recap here, and my overall rating is going to be a solid 9.5 out of 10. I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I have a few pieces that in my personal collection already that I enjoy a little bit better than this one. And this was my first animated piece I've ever gotten. And while I typically really didn't care about the animation too much, this goes without saying that this is one of the best pieces to utilize animation ever. It doesn't feel like an unnecessary tacked on thing. They really utilized it very, very well here. So I highly recommend this building. For $120, might be a little expensive, but you're getting so much here. Definitely the top of the line building for this year. And again, I still recommend it even with that price tag. So thank you to Lemax for sending me this building. I really, really appreciate it. I have a few more reviews of Lemax buildings on the way, so stay tuned. But with that, everybody, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, this is the Pixelated Pumpkin, signing out.